Hello guys, let's discuss current affairs and today's first questions on the late Oommen Chandy, the Kerala chief minister. He passed away recently and he was the chief minister. He was a Congress leader. He was the chief minister of the state on two occasions between 2004. The first time was into the first decade of this century, 2000 between 2004 and 2006, and then between 2011 and 2016. Now that's the second term was was a full term. The first term was more of a stopgap thing. So he is the chief minister. He was the chief minister of Kerala on two occasions, and the current chief minister of Kerala is Pinarayi Vijayan. Now Kerala also has the lowest poverty ratio in India, and highest one of the highest literacy rates. And if you look at the names of the chief ministers of these places, there are five choices, including Kerala, and the last one is a union territory. By definition, a union territory would not have a legislature. But in the case of two union territories, there are two union territories. That's Puducherry and Delhi, which have legislatures, a council of ministers, and consequently a chief minister. So both Puducherry and Delhi have legislatures as well as a council of ministers led by the chief minister. Now, in the case of Puducherry, the chief minister is N. Rangaswamy. N. Rangaswamy. Kerala, Pinarayi Vijayan. Karnataka, V. Siddaramaiah. Goa, Pramod Sawant. As you know, Goa is also India's smallest state by area. Goa, then we have Tamil Nadu, Muthuvel Karunanidhi Stalin. Okay, so there we go, guys. MK Stalin, and we got the names of all the chief ministers of all the places mentioned in the choices. From here, let's look at the next one, which the following institutions held its first formal discussion on artificial intelligence this week in New York. The UN Security Council discussed, all the 15 members, including 5 permanent members, discussed, they deliberated on the pros and cons of, unregulated artificial intelligence technology. So there are a wide array of views. Some say that yes, it's a matter of concern that artificial intelligence is unregulated and it could create havoc tomorrow. In fact, some experts have gone on to say that it could lead to the extinction of humanity. Now, I will not go that far, but there are concerns, there are fears that unregulated artificial intelligence could lead to catastrophe. The UN Security Council has 10 non-permanent members. As you know, the permanent members are the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Russia, and China. How do you pronounce the fourth mentioned country, Russia? We normally say Russia, Shia, not Shia, here, Sha, Russia. That's the way it's pronounced. Well, we could pronounce in the way we want, and especially we should go by a certain kind of pronunciation which is understood by people. The purpose of communication, as you know, is to communicate ideas. Okay, there are two essentials in any process of communication: one, what to communicate, and two, how to communicate. So when we send a message, the other gives a feedback. The other person or the recipient gives us feedback whether they have understood or not. So that kind of tells us whether we have been effective in communicating, expressing our ideas. So always remember what to do, what to communicate, or what to say, and how to say matter. So in the case of the United Nations Security Council, we said there are 5 permanent members, and the current non-permanent members, that is 10, have 2 Asian members. One is the United Arab Emirates, the other is I think Japan. So the United Arab Emirates and Japan are the current non-permanent members from Asia. Okay, so from there we could look at the International Monetary Fund. The International Monetary Fund, my friend, is headed by Kristalina Georgieva. Often we have taken her name, and she's from Bulgaria. Kristalina Georgieva of Bulgaria. World Intellectual Property Organization is based in Geneva, 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 which is in Switzerland. It's headed by a Singaporean diplomat named Darren Tang, D-A-R-E-N, Darren Tang, T-A-N-G, Tang. Now, the UN Economic and Social Council is is one of the six principal bodies of the UN. What are the six principal bodies of the organs of the UN? The six principal organs of the UN system are: one, the United Nations General Assembly. So General Assembly is one which comprises all the members of the UN, which is 193 members plus two observers. The two observers would be the Vatican City, and then you have Palestine. So 193 members plus two observers in the General Assembly. So one is General Assembly. Number two is Security Council. We just mentioned that the Security Council has 5 permanent and 10 non-permanent members. Then we look at the Secretariat, which comprises the office of the UN Secretary General, who is currently Antonio Guterres of Portugal. The number 4 is Economic and Social Council, which comprises 54 members. Okay, currently 54 members. Then you have the Trusteeship Council, that's number 5. All these 5 are headquartered in New York City. The 6th one, International Court of Justice, is headquartered in the Dutch city of Hague, H-A-G-U-E, Hague. It's often called the Hague, preceded by an article the. So the Hague. So we got all the names of the 6 principal organs of the UN system. Then we have the World Trade Organization, headed by this, like the UN, like the WIPO, is headquartered in Geneva. WTO is headed by Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Let me spell the name. Ngozi, N-G-O-Z-I, Ngozi Okonjo, O-K-O-N-J-O, Okonjo Iweala, I-W-E-A-L-A, Iweala. Okay, so we got all the, a little note about each of these. On July 17, 2023, which Indian bank crossed the $100 billion valuation, thereby becoming the world's 7th largest bank. The world's largest bank by market capitalization would be JP Morgan, but in the case of India, it is HDFC Bank. Now let me tell you what a market capitalization. It's a simple way of looking at how valued is the company by the market. When I say market, the stock market. Let's look at market capitalization. It's a simple equation. Market capitalization equals number of issued shares multiplied by market price. Some places you may not find the word issued shares, you may find outstanding shares. So instead of issued, you may find outstanding. So number of outstanding shares multiplied by market price. Let's say a company has issued 1 lakh shares and the market price of each share would be, let's say, 100 rupees today. So 1 lakh into 100, 1 crore. So that's a market value of all the shares of the company. If one share is valued at 100 rupees, what is the value of all the shares? So you multiply all the shares into the number of shares into the market price of each share. You get the market capitalization. That logic holds good in the case of HDFC Bank and every other bank, of course. And if you look at HDFC Bank on that particular day, I looked at all the data. As you know, I come armed with the data, lots of facts and figures, because without these facts and figures our discussion would not make sense. India's HDFC Bank was the 7th largest bank in the world by market cap, with a total of about $151 billion. That's a lot of GDP, my friends. That's almost a little around, you could say, about 4.8%. Take 5% of India's GDP. 5% of India's GDP. Okay, so HDFC Bank's market cap was $151 billion. Now coming to the biggest bank by market cap, the world's biggest bank by market cap would be JP Morgan. JP Morgan Chase, C-H-A-S-E. How big? We said HDFC Bank has 151. Take it 3 times. $438 billion. JP Morgan Chase, Chase's market capitalization as on that day was $438 billion. Yes, you heard it right. Then comes, I don't give you the numbers for all, but just for information's sake, number 2 was the Bank of America at 232. Number 3 was ICBC, which is the International, International Commercial and Banking Corporation of China. Yeah. So it's huge. These are top 3: JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and ICBC. Okay. Then you have the Agriculture Bank of China in the fourth place. Fifth is Wells Fargo. Sixth is HSBC. Seventh is our bank, HDFC Bank. See, these numbers keep changing depending on the market price of each share. So what was right on 17th, the figure that was right on 17th July may not be right on 18th July. It may either have gone up or gone down, or maybe, of course, if the price is stable, same as the status quo, it would still be the same. So please be careful about this. This market cap is a market game. Okay. Identify the correct statements as per the Niti Aayog's National Multidimensional Poverty Index. This is a progress report. I think it started with the single inverted comma. There should have been a closing single inverted comma. Never mind. Okay, so there we go. All of these are right. We in the previous class had mentioned that about 415 million, that's 41 crore people have been pulled out of poverty, overall, basically worldwide. But when it comes to India, 13 crore people were pulled out of poverty, in the 5 years, in 2015 to 2021. Now please note that this is the BJP ruling period time. But in 2015 and 2021, there is a BJP. The BJP came to power in 2014. So the NDA government, led by the BJP as a majority constituent partner, that's what they claim, has brought down the poverty numbers substantially. Now I want you to know something more here. When it comes to poverty and all that, I have graphics. I went through this particular multidimensional poverty index, and I found these 2 very interesting graphics. So the steep decline in poverty head count, multidimensional poverty has come down. It was in 2015-16, 24%, nearly 25% of the population was multidimensionally poor, either in education or in, not just money-wise. There was deprivation of what? Education, lack of access to education, lack of access to sanitation, healthcare, food. So there were multiple parameters. Now when it comes to, see, there are about 13.5 crore people, there is a substantially large number of people still poor, but in the 5 years since 2015, remember, the number of poor people has come down substantially. About 13.5 crore people have come out of poverty because of government intervention and a lot of other measures. So if you look at state-wise, percentage of the total population who are multidimensionally poor in each state and union territory, this dark blue is the current 1921, and this one, the previous light blue, gray you could call it, is 2015-16. So nearly 52%, 51.89% of Bihar population that is, was multidimensionally poor. It's now come down to substantially, but almost 18 percentage points. So a lot of our folks in Bihar, have exited poverty. That's a good development. It's always a good development when people have better access to healthcare, to education, to food, to sanitation, all those measures. So Bihar still has a substantially large number of people who are multidimensionally poor. Nearly 34% of the country, one third of the state's population is multidimensionally poor. Now you look at the other side, the three poorest, of course, if you look at is Bihar, Jharkhand, Meghalaya. But the bottom, if you look at Kerala on the other side, has the lowest poverty numbers in India. Lowest, yeah, which is a very positive development. So Kerala, again, it has reduced from 0.7% previously to currently 0.55%. So Kerala has the lowest poverty numbers, followed by Goa and Tamil Nadu. There is again for union territory, the India's lowest main, of course, India's lowest poverty numbers could be found in the union territory of Puducherry. I'm talking of only UTs. You see this, just 0.85. So Kerala, if you club both states and union territories, Kerala has the lowest poverty head count. Fairly great work, my friends. Okay. See, graphic can give you a lot of information. So everywhere, if you look at the poverty numbers, they have come down substantially, my friends. Everywhere they have come down. Madhya Pradesh has reduced it by almost 16 percentage points. But the biggest difference has been in Bihar, 18 percentage points, and coming to Jharkhand, 14. So it's a long, it's a pretty good thing, my friends. In which of the following places did the first ever meeting of the BIMSTEC foreign ministers take place? BIMSTEC, what is the full form of it? Bay of Bengal Initiative for multi-sectoral and technical and economic cooperation. Let me repeat. Bay of Bengal Initiative. So B for Bay of Bengal, I for initiative, for multi-sectoral, that is MS, multi-sectoral, technical and economic cooperation. Okay, now it has 7 members. Let's look at the names of all the members. Why don't we write the names? Bangladesh. Okay, let's go in order. Bhutan. Why don't we go further east? Actually, Nepal. I'm sorry, Nepal, Bhutan, India, Bangladesh. That's so 1 Nepal, 2 Bhutan, 3 India, 4 Bangladesh, 5 Myanmar, 6 Thailand, 7 Sri Lanka. So 7 members. Okay, and the Secretary General. Okay, the Secretariat of BIMSTEC is at Dhaka, which is the capital of Bangladesh. Then the Secretary General is Tenzin Lekfal. I'll spell the name. Tenzin, Tenzin, Tenzin Lekfal, Lekphl, Lekfal. He's from Bhutan. Tenzin Lekfal. Okay. So it took place in Bangkok, which as you know is the modern capital of, or the capital of modern Thailand, because the old capital of the Kingdom of Thailand was a place called Ayutthaya. Yes, it's a corruption of the Indian city of Ayodhya. The ruling dynasty of Thailand is called the Chakri dynasty, Chakri, Chakri dynasty. And the rulers of this Chakri dynasty call themselves, they believe they are the descendants of the Raghuvamsa dynasty of Ayodhya. And they have, most of these kings of the Chakri dynasty have taken an official name which ends in Rama, R-A-M-A, Rama the 9th, Rama the 10th. Like for example, the current king of Thailand is Maha Vajiralongkorn. Maha Vajiralongkorn is officially called Rama the 10th. His papa, his father, who ruled since between 1948, if I'm not wrong, till recently, till about his death about 3 years back. This man was Bhumibol Adulyadej, Rama the 9th. So, these guys call themselves Rama. I think they're fairly numbers, simple numbers here. I mean, very simple names. You know all these things. I'll give you the names of all the countries, and of course the names of the the name of the Secretary General as well. And if you want to write when was BIMSTEC started, 1997, 1997. Okay. PM Narendra Modi recently inaugurated a new integrated terminal building of Veer Savarkar International Airport. This is Veer Savarkar. Veer Savarkar was born in 1893 and he passed, sorry, 1883 and he passed away in 1966. A freedom fighter, he is considered to be pretty controversial. Why controversial and everything, will not get into the details because his views have polarized have polarized political parties. So because we are not politicians, we are not into politics, we are into the idea of learning. We'll stick to our business, that is learning. Veer Savarkar was also the author of books like The Indian War of Independence. The Indian War of Independence. He wrote this book on the 1857 War of Independence. The Indian War of Independence. He also wrote this book called Six Glorious Epochs of Indian History. Six glorious epochs. EPOCHS. Six glorious epochs of Indian history. The airport in Port Blair, the capital of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, is named after Veer Savarkar. Veer Savarkar, because he was incarcerated, imprisoned at the cellular jail in Port Blair. Okay, cellular jail. Why would they call it cellular jail? Because they were small cells for individual confinement, solitary confinement, very small cells, holes in the wall. So cellular. And you should also know that Veer Savarkar. Okay, one more thing I can tell you about Port Blair. Port Blair, is named after a British guy, Archibald Blair. Blair, BLAIR. So Archibald, ARCHIBALD. ARCHIBALD. Archibald Blair, a Britisher, gave his name to Port Blair. Okay. Let's look at usually I would look at why these choices are around, but let's look at only the airports now. Ranchi's airport is called Birsa Munda. Birsa Munda. BIRSA. Birsa Munda. MUNDA. Birsa Munda International Airport. Amritsar. Guru Ramdas Ji. Guru Ramdas Ji International Airport. Guru Ramdas Ji International Airport. Of course, the choice for Port Blair is there in the question itself is there. Raipur, Swami Vivekananda Airport. Swami Vivekananda. Guwahati, Lokapriya. Gopinath, GOPINATH. Gopinath. Bordoloi. 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 Gopinath Bordoloi. International Airport. So there we got a lot of airports there. Find the correct statements about the Export Preparedness Index 2022. You see, it's all mentioned here. It measures evaluates states, union territories on four bases: policy, business ecosystem, export ecosystem, and export performance. So all of these are right, and I have another question on this. Which state was ranked number 1 in the Export Preparedness Index? Tamil Nadu. Number 1, Tamil Nadu. So you could write this. Tamil Nadu, number 1. Number 2, Maharashtra. Number 3, Karnataka. So what it does is it evaluates performance of the states in exports, and also it evaluates potential upside, potential performance. What is it that the state could do more to improve exports and everything? So number one, Tamil Nadu. Number two, what is that? Maharashtra. Number three, Karnataka. Yes. You know, Maharashtra is India's third biggest state by area. The largest, as you know, is Rajasthan, followed by Madhya Pradesh. Rajasthan's area is about 3.42 lakh square kilometers. Madhya Pradesh is 3.08. Maharashtra is 3.07. Fourth would be Uttar Pradesh. Fifth would be Gujarat. Five biggest states in India by area. To repeat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat. Okay. Gujarat also has the longest coastline. It also has the longest coastline. Which Indian state released the Gambusia fish into the state's water bodies to combat mosquito-borne diseases like malaria and dengue? Andhra Pradesh. Now this Gambusia fish is also called Gambezi. What is it also called? Gambezi. Gambezi. Gambezi fish. What does it do? Why the AP government released this into water bodies, states' water bodies to battle mosquitoes, stuff like that? Because this Gambezi fish, Gambusia fish, eats mosquito larvae. So, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Gambusia fish into the state's water bodies is a biocontrol method of limiting mosquito population. Got it? It's a biocontrol method. It's called biocontrol. So Andhra Pradesh has done this because mosquitoes bring in a lot of diseases. They wreak havoc when it comes to malaria, dengue. Every year about 4.6 lakh people die of malaria. Do you know that? And 94% of those people die in Africa. So which state government announced that it will not host the 2026 Commonwealth Games due to projected cost overruns? Victoria, this is Victoria State. You have Melbourne here, that's the capital. You have South Australia, Northern Territory, Western Australia, Queensland. Now, I want you to know that Australia is a very large country. You can see it's there. Apart from this mainland, there is the island of Tasmania. This is Tasmania. Okay, and please know that Australia's area is about 76 lakh square kilometers. That's a very large area, 76 lakh square kilometers. Coming to its population, about 2.6 crore. Now that's because most of the inner country, you see there are very few settlements here. In fact, there's nothing here actually. 85% of Australia's population of 2.6 crore live in urban areas, especially on the east of the country. So if you look at Victoria, this is Victoria. This state was to hold the Commonwealth Games this year, but they have said that it's not this year. I'm so sorry, 2026. Because we have had Commonwealth Games last year in Birmingham, UK. 2022 because it's a 4-year event. Okay. 2026 Melbourne, that is Victoria State, has said that, look guys, initially we estimated the cost to be around $2 billion, $2.5 billion. Now it's likely to be around $6 to $7 billion. We don't have that kind of money, so we want to decline hosting this. We don't want to host this. Look for an alternative venue. So that's what the Commonwealth Games Federation is doing now, looking at different venues. Basically, they're looking at which country, which state, which province or which city is willing to host the Commonwealth Games in 2026. For now, things are fluid. You see this here? This is Melbourne and this is Sydney. So when Australia became independent of British control, Sydney and Melbourne fought against each other, not literally, fighting kind of thing. They wanted to be the capital. but then only one, there could be only one, there could only be one capital of the country. So the government of Australia, after failing to bring a peace between these two warring cities, they said, okay, let's build a new capital in the middle, somewhere in the equidistant of both Sydney and Melbourne, and that's how Canberra was created. Canberra was a tiny place, in fact more of a village actually, and now it's a capital. And you should know that, ladies and gentlemen, it's nicknamed Bush City, BUSH, because it's right there in the middle of a jungle. Okay, so that's a bit about you have these cricket matches now at Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, yeah, sometimes in Darwin as well. Chaliye. So it's fluid as to 2026, and after that there has been no venue for 2030. It's yet to be announced. TBS called to be announced. 2022 Commonwealth Games, Birmingham, UK. BIRMINGHAM. I repeat, BIRMINGHAM, Birmingham. Okay. Bola Tinubu recently declared a state of emergency to tackle rising food prices and shortages. Tinubu is the new president of Nigeria. This is Nigeria. The north part, see, Nigeria is Africa's most populous country, and you should know. I think its population is about 22 crores. Yeah, very large population. And the northern part is Muslim, southern part is Christian. And this is in the northern part. You have a terrorist group called Boko Haram. Boko Haram. It's a very dangerous terrorist group. So Tinubu has come to the office of presidency recently. He's become president pretty recent, because in the previous elections, he won the elections, of course, but he succeeded a guy called Muhammadu Buhari, Buhari. Buhari. He's retired. Are you familiar with these choices here? Tanzania, the capital, shall we look at? We'll look at only the leader. The capital is Dodoma. But anyway, Tanzania's president is Samia Suluhu. Samia, Samia, Samia Suluhu, Suluhu, Suluhu. Algeria, this is Algeria, Africa's biggest country by area. I think it's biggest country. Algeria's president is Abdel Majid Tebboune. I'll spell Abdel Majid, I repeat, ABDEL MADJID. Yes, Majid, that's how they write. MADJID, Abdel Majid Tebboune, TEBBOUNE. Tebboune. And Kenya, it's not there, but this is Kenya. Okay, Kenya's capital is Nairobi, and the president is a guy called William Ruto, Ruto, William Ruto. South Africa, 3 capitals: Johannesburg, Bloemfontein, and Pretoria. Okay. Coming to South Africa's president, it is Cyril Ratcliffe. Cyril, CYRIL. Cyril Ratcliffe, RADCLIFFE. Ratcliffe. Cyril Ratcliffe. In a significant move to strengthen economic ties, with which nation did India sign a historic MOU on the local currency settlement system? The United Arab Emirates. This is the United Arab Emirates, and ladies and gentlemen, please know that this if you don't know what is it, you could just write 2 sentences. One would be allows you local currency settlement system. Write that, and below that, point 1, allows use of Indian rupee, and UAE dirham. UAE dirham. DIRHAM. For bilateral economic transactions. Next one. Enables exporters and importers to invoice and pay in domestic currencies. What it means is that now if you are exporting to the UAE, you could pay in rupees. If you are exporting, you could receive in rupees or you could receive in dirham instead of dollars or euros or something else. So it kind of facilitates our exports and imports. It kind of minimizes fluctuations in the stock, in the foreign exchange market also. And this also takes our rupee, our currency globally, to a global trading mechanism. By the way, this is Syria in the choices there. Syria, this is Syria here, and Oman. This is Bahrain. This is the tiny island of Bahrain. This is Qatar here, Kuwait here, Yemen, pretty large country, very poor, desperately poor, and this is Jordan here. Syria, if you want to write the capital, I can give the capital. Maybe we could write the names of the leaders here. Right, Syria, Bashar al-Assad. Bashar, Bashar. Bashar al-Assad, Assad, ASSAD, Assad. And then Oman, this one. Hey, you know what? You see this stretch here, the same as Oman's color here. This is owned by Oman, this area in the peninsular area, and so UAE is here, but this portion and the mainland of Oman, main territory of Oman, are separated by a long stretch of UAE territory. So Oman's capital is Muscat, and the leader is Haytham, Sultan Haytham, Haitham, Haytham, Sultan Haytham bin Tariq Al Sayyid, bin Tariq Al Sayyid, SAID, Sayyid. Bahrain, it's a predominantly Shia country, though the Raja is Sunni. Bahrain, the Raja's, the capital is mentioned there, Manama, 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 and the president is, and then the Raja is Hamad, Hamad, bin Isa, bin, bin Isa, Isa. So Hamad, son of Isa, bin means son of. Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, Khalifa, Khalifa. Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. So that's the ruling party's name, the royal family's surname. When you say Al Sayyid in Oman, UAE has Al Nahyan, Al Saud in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, this is how it works, my friends. Al Sabah in Kuwait, Al Thani in Qatar. Yeah, I am comfortable with these names because I spend a lot of time learning, about these countries, culture, economies, economy, culture, politics. I love learning. Yes, I'm sure that most of you do. This is Yemen. Yemen is these are all kingdoms here. These are all kingdoms. Okay, Jordan and all this. Yemen is a republic, but there is a civil war happening here. Pretty bad situation here. So Yemen's capital is Sana'a, Sanaa, and the president, not accepted by the entire country, but anyway, President Rashad Al Alimi, Rashad, RASHAD, Rashad Al Alimi hyphen AL hyphen Alimi, ALIMI, ALIMI. India and its partner countries decided to establish a Mekong Ganga Cooperation Business Council to expand exchanges in agriculture and water resource management. Identify the nation which is not part of the MGC, that is among Mekong Ganga Cooperation. Mekong is a very long river. Disputes are there as to the length of it. Some places you will find, see in Wikipedia, on the Wikipedia page, you will find in the second line there in the article, I was reading that article, you will find the length to be 4909 kilometers. 4909. On the right box, there is a snapshot. In the snapshot box, you will find the length to be around 4350 kilometers. 4350 kilometers. So, who's right? Which one is right? 4909 or 4350 kilometers? So, there is always this dispute. Let's not get into the dispute part. Let's look at the river name. Okay. Mekong is the lifeline of these countries, my friends. It's like our Ganga. Yeah. So, Mekong starts as in China, in the Qinghai province. This is Lancang. This is the name of Mekong in China. Lancang. This is Myanmar. You can see here. Okay. So from there it flows into touches basically Myanmar. Then you have Thailand. This is Thailand. Touches here. Then Laos. Vietnam, and before that on the border with Cambodia. Alright, so I'll give you the names of the countries: China, Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. So Philippines is not a part of this. Okay. Okay, let's take it further. It's Mekong is Asia's third longest river, my friends. Find out the longest rivers. One is already mentioned, it's there in the map. Okay, so you see this is Myanmar and this is the capital of Myanmar, Naypyidaw. Naypyidaw. Vientiane is the capital of Laos. Capital of Laos. Is there anything else you want to know? The capitals? We'll look at the capital because Cambodia has just had election and the president and the son of the long-standing prime minister, long-ruling prime minister Hun Sen is going to take the seat in 2 weeks from today. Okay, so let's not get into the who is the current guy. Okay, Cambodia's capital is, you can write here, Phnom Penh. It's there at the bottom. PHNOM. I repeat, PHNOM, Phnom Penh, 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 Phnom Penh. Myanmar, it's mentioned here, Naypyidaw, NAYPYITAW, TAW. Thailand, Bangkok, BANGKOK, Bangkok. Vietnam, it's here, Hanoi, HANOI, Hanoi. Philippines' capital is Manila, MANILA, Manila. Education and Skills Development Minister, there are two separate ministries here. Okay, Ministry of Education and Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. Something is missing there, but never mind, cool. Dharmendra Pradhan launched an AI program on the World Youth Skills Day on July 15th. July 15th. What is 10th July? National Fish Farmers Day. National Fish Farmers Day. I repeat, National Fish Farmers Day. July 29th. International Tiger Day. International Tiger Day. Now, International Tiger Day. July 18th, International Nelson Mandela Day. International Nelson Mandela Day. International Nelson Mandela Day. Then July 20th, International Moon Day. Simply Moon Day. MOON, Moon Day. You may wonder what's Moon Day? Because on this day, that is 20th July 1969, Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon. The first human beings to ever set foot on the moon, to ever get onto the moon surface, lunar surface, were Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. Yeah, and they did this on July 20th. July 20th. According to the latest Henley Passport Index in 2023, which country has the world's most powerful passport that allows visa-free entry to 192 global destinations? Oh, it's not highlighted. This is nice. Singapore. The answer is Singapore. Okay? The answer is Singapore. 1. Now, I want you to know something here. Singapore is the answer. What does visa-free entry means? Just the passport of Singapore. You have a passport, you hold the passport, you can simply get into a flight, go to any country in the world, 192 countries, and you could, technically it's 192 countries, means 192 countries, okay? So they could go to any country in the world without any visa required. They can simply walk through immigration. They wouldn't require a visa. Amazing, nah? So when it comes to India, it's about, I think it's very sure. I think we can travel to about 57 countries visa free. 57 or 58 countries, some number like that. Okay. But before that, Singapore, world number 1, world's most powerful passport with access to 192 countries, my friends. Okay. Germany, Italy, Spain. Look at the numbers there. Okay, 2, 3, 4. All 3 countries are in the second place with access to 190 countries. Visa-free travel to 190 countries. Yes, a German passport, Italian passport, and Spanish passport can open doors visa-free in 190 countries. I deliberately wrote Afghanistan. See, in this question only I made the changes because our team makes the questions. I don't make the questions. I just change the order of the questions. Okay, so that they are all in one way. I deliberately put Afghanistan there and I forgot to highlight Singapore there. So that's my mistake. Afghanistan's the least powerful passport in the world. You could say the weakest passport in the world. 104 countries were ranked by Henley Passport Index, and it took the bottom place. 104 place. 104 place. A person with an Afghan passport can travel visa free to 27 countries. 27. That's it. I wonder what are these 27 countries that would allow an Afghan citizen with the country's passport visa free. What about Pakistan? 101 rank. Yes, very poor rank. 101. Okay. Vilnius, which hosted the 2023 NATO summit, is the capital of this. Is you see this Vilnius? Where is it? It's in Lithuania. It's in Lithuania. There is Latvia. Riga is the capital. Latvia. These 3 countries, Baltic countries. So Latvia's capital is Riga. Estonia, choice 1. The capital is Tallinn. 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 Bulgaria. This is Bulgaria. The capital is Sofia. The capital is Sofia. And Serbia. This is a pretty large country. The capital is Belgrade. 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 Okay. Which country, just to give you some idea, just for fun, okay? Since I love maps. You see this country here, Czech Republic, Slovakia. In 1918, this country came into origin as Czechoslovakia. Okay. In 1992, this country broke up into two separate parts: Czech Republic, Slovakia. 1992. Yeah. So they became two separate countries. In fact, if you look at this particular part of the world, you have Serbia here, Bosnia, Croatia, you have, Macedonia, you have, this part also. There is a small country called Montenegro. All these were part of a country called Yugoslavia. Like Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia also came into existence in 1918 at the end of the Second World War. But again, like Czechoslovakia, it also broke up in 1992. When it broke up, all the provinces in this country became independent countries. Croatia, Bosnia, Slovenia, you have Serbia, Macedonia, Montenegro. So all these places. Okay, countries break up all the time, my friends. You look at the USSR, Sudan. Which country signed the accession protocol for the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, thereby becoming the first European country to join a major Indo-Pacific trade bloc? This is a trade bloc. It's called that PP otherwise. Basically, it's actually called TPP. Now it's called TPP in short. You could write this TPP or write the full name. Established 2018, 2018. Next, 11 members. Next, I'll give the names of the members. I learned them for this class. New Zealand, Australia, Malaysia, Brunei, Brunei, Brunei. I could have brought in one more. I repeat: New Zealand, Australia, Singapore in the geographical order. Singapore, Malaysia 4, 5 Brunei, 6 Vietnam, Vietnam, Vietnam. 7 Japan, 8 Japan. Then there's one more that I'm missing, I think. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, 8 is Mexico, 9 Canada, 10 what is that? Peru, P-E-R-U, Peru. 11 is here, UK. I was wondering, I had 3 more in my mind, and then I realized, okay, 7 plus 3, 10. How is it that I mentioned 11? 11th is here. To repeat: New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, Brunei, Vietnam. We mentioned Japan, Canada, Mexico, Peru, and UK. Okay, all have come. Fair. Who is the author of the book, whose biography is Through the Broken Glass? Through the Broken Glass. T.N. Sheshan. Tirunelli. I'm not greatly familiar with the Tamil pronunciation, so I'll still go. Tirunelli Narayana Iyer Session. That I think is his full name. He was an IAS officer. He was the Chief Election Commissioner of India between 1990 and 1996. 1990 and 1996. He, for the first time, drove the fear of God into India's election system. Till then, people used to put up posters everywhere. They would campaign till the very end. Everyone would violate, all candidates would violate all electoral rules and everything. He said, you are supposed to spend only this much for a legislative assembly seat. For an MP seat, this much. Hmm? And those who did not submit accounts would be disqualified, he said. And if someone would falsify accounts, they would be disqualified. He actually disqualified nearly 1480 candidates in the election in, I think, in 1991 sometime. Yeah, think about that. That had never happened in the history of India, independent India. But he did. He actually brought a free, fair, transparent system to a large extent in our system. He was responsible to have brought in this in. So, Tirunellai Narayana Iyer Sesham. He was an IAS officer and, as I mentioned, Chief Election Commissioner, Cabinet Secretary also. So, if you look at the choices here, Arora, Sunil Arora, Ashok Lavasa, Rajiv Kumar, they all have been Chief Election Commissioners. Vinod Rai has been the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. So, we'll not get there now. The Global Food Regulators Summit 2023 will be held at New Delhi. It will be held at New Delhi. Nothing more to discuss. Vienna is the capital of Austria. Of course, they are all capitals, the places they, Vienna is also home to the International Atomic Energy Agency. Vienna. Paris, UNESCO. Rome, Food and Agriculture Organization. They just came to my mind, so I'm sharing this with you. Okay? Food and Agriculture Organization. Berlin, there is an organization called Transparency International. It's an anti-corruption watchdog. Transparency International. Nelson Mandela International Day is observed on, we mentioned it a while ago, July 18th, every year in commemoration of Mandela's birthday to honor his life and legacy. Nelson Mandela was a black African, anti-apartheid, anti-apartheid fighter, activist. What was apartheid? Apartheid, maybe in the next class I'll bring this in. No, you may be wondering. Bharat always says that in the next class he'll bring in a story, then he never does that. Well, I remember the tiers story, tier 1, tier 2, the city classification. I wrote it down if I'm not wrong. I wrote it down somewhere and for you guys I wrote it down. I normally don't remember these kinds of things. But anyway, I'll share these numbers and everything, right? So, in the last class I told you that in this class I'll discuss this tier 1, tier 2 classification kind of thing. On what basis and all. Now, next class I'll tell you a little about the apartheid system in South Africa. I'm writing it right away so that I won't forget. You know that I don't have a great memory. So I will write it RSA, Republic of South Africa, apartheid system. Okay, here it is. So, Nelson Mandela was born in 1918 on 18th July, as you would know that. He was born in 1918. He died 5 years short of his 100th birthday. That is, he died at the age of 95. He was against racial discrimination, and he was sent to prison for 27 years. But in 1962, late 62 to 1990, he was in jail. Because he adopted non-violent methods to fight against oppression, racial discrimination. He is also called the African Gandhi, South African Gandhi. Now, he was released, and I'll tell you the entire story next class. And he became the president of South Africa in 1994. So he was the president between 1994 and 1999. Okay. So world over, he is a recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. He has won every possible award. He is one of the only 2 foreigners to have received the Bharat Ratna. The only 2 non-Indian citizens to have received Bharat Ratna are Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, 1987, a Pakistani. Then Nelson Mandela, 1990, a South African. Okay. Which state government partnered with the UK-based OneWeb satellite company to launch a satellite network portal site? Gujarat. There's not much to discuss. This is the company that's based in London, and it provides broadband satellite service. Broadband satellite service means through satellites, broadband, internet facilities and all. And this is the majority shareholder of this company is our Indian company, Bharti Airtel company. So it's majority of the shares, 30% of the shares are owned by an Indian company called Bharti. Okay, it's a London-based company. Not much to discuss here, so let's go. Which state or union territory's Rural Livelihood Mission backed the Scotch Award and the State of Governance India 2047 in the gold category? J&K. And for what reason? For the promotion of self-help groups. For the promotion of self-help groups. Okay, that's major thing. Jammu and Kashmir is like Ladakh is a union territory, and Jammu and Kashmir is run by Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha. Manoj Sinha. Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha. Okay, Sikkim is India's smallest state by population. India's smallest state by population. If I'm not wrong, Punjab has the highest percentage of scheduled caste population as highest percentage of scheduled caste population as percentage of total population. Okay, that's about it. As per the reports of the Women's Empowerment Index and the Global Gender Parity Index, only 1% women live in countries that have high gender parity and women empowerment. These reports are the works of UN Women and UNDP. I'll tell you who are the heads of this. UN Women is headed by, you could write this, UN Women is headed by Seema Bahous. Seema, S-I-M-A, Seema Bahous, B-A-H-O-U-S, Bahous. Seema Bahous of Jordan, Seema Bahous of Jordan. UN Women is headquartered in New York City. In fact, if you look at choice, the same choice, UNDP is also headquartered in New York City. So both UN Women headed by Seema Bahous and United Nations Development Program headed by Achim Steiner, who is the head of UNDP. Achim, A-C-H-I-M, Achim Steiner, S-T-E-I-N-E-R, Steiner. Achim Steiner, he holds dual citizenship of Brazil and Germany. So UN Women and UNDP are both headquartered in New York City. UNEP is United Nations Environment Program, headquartered in Nairobi, Kenya, N-A-I-R-O-B-I, Nairobi, Kenya, headed by Inger Anderson, I-N-G-E-R, Inger Anderson, A-N-D-E-R-S-E-N, of Denmark, Inger Anderson of Denmark. The rest you know. Which two nations will jointly host the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023? There in the logo you could see this. Australia and New Zealand. For the next FIFA World Cup, no announcement has been made yet. Let's see who actually picks up that. And you should know that the maximum number of tournaments, FIFA Women's World Cup tournaments, have been won by the United States. 4 titles. 4 times the US has won the FIFA Women's World Cup. 4 times. I think they are the defending champion, and they are also a world #1 team in women's football. World #1 team. Number 2 is Germany. Number 3 is Sweden. Top 3 women's football teams are US, Germany, Sweden. Okay. Don't go anywhere. I'll give you the classification I wrote for you guys. Okay. There are 2-way classifications. One is the RBI classification, which says tier 1 to tier 6 cities. Okay, and now population wise, tier 1 1 lakh and above, 1 lakh and above, tier 1. Tier 2 50,000 to 99,999. Okay, a city would be called tier 3 city if the population is between 20,000 and 49,999. So to repeat, tier 1 1 lakh and above, tier 2 50,000 to 99,999. That is, I repeat, 99,999. Tier 3 20,000 to 49,999. Tier 4 5,000, sorry, 10,000, I'm sorry, 10,000 to 19,999. Tier 5 5,000 to 9999. Tier 6, last one, below 5,000. So if a settlement has a population less than 5,000, it would be called tier 6 city. Now this also is different for calculation of salaries by central government employees. So that is a different thing. I am talking of RBI classification. Now one more thing I have is we often say something is rural, something is semi-urban, urban, metropolitan. So what is it? Rural, population of less than 10,000. Population of less than 10,000. Semi-urban, 10,000 to 1 lakh. 10,000 to 1 lakh. I repeat, rural less than 10,000. Semi-urban, 10,000 to 1 lakh. Urban, 1 lakh to 10 lakh. Urban is 1 lakh to 10 lakh. Metropolitan is more than 10 lakhs. More than 10 lakhs. Okay. That's all from me, Bharat C. Jain. Have a lot of fun. And I had to read from this primarily because I found this difficult to write, because these are not part of my class. Actually, I didn't prepare it last minute. I actually wrote this down. Any which way, with some kind of learning it is, my friends. Everything is learning for us. Have a lot of fun. Stay curious. Take care of yourself. Thank you for being here. Thank you.